Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the last webinar on the IHI Call 11 on leveraging Europe's expertise to accelerate cell therapy for type 1 diabetes. My name is Nasima, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Before we start, I just want to share some information with you. If we move to the next slide, we are recording the session and we will be publishing it on the IHI website. We will also publish the presentation slides. The call has been launched and all the links and details of how to apply have been published on the IHI website and on the Funding and Tenders portal. Another important point, if you have any questions, please use the chat function on the right corner of your screen and we will get them at the end of the presentation. Today we have two presenters. We have Clelia, who is Scientific Officer for this topic, and she's going to kick off with the presentation. And we also have Carmen Hurtado del Pozo from Breakthrough T1D, who is going to present the topic itself. We also have Chiara, who is our legal officer. So now I will hand over to Clelia.
Thank you, Nasima. Good afternoon, everyone. So in today's webinar, we're focusing on the topic 4 of Call 11. And I will start with covering an introduction on the IHI program. Then Carmen will move on presenting you the main aspects and the scope of this topic. Then I will also give you some information on the submission of proposals and the evaluation process that will be followed and some tips for the applicants. What our webinar will not cover is information on rules and procedures. There was a webinar this morning on rules and procedures, which was recorded and it is already available on our website. So if you need any information on these aspects, please go on our website and access this recording. So I will start with giving you an overview on our program, the Innovative Health Initiative. IHI is EU's partnership in health, and it is a partnership between the European Union, presented by the European Commission, and the healthcare industry associations in Europe, which are COSIR, FPA, including Vaccines Europe, Europa Bio, and MedTech Europe. The general objectives of our program is first to turn health research and innovation into real benefits for patients and society. Secondly, to deliver safe, effective health innovations that cover the entire spectrum of care, from prevention to diagnosis and treatment, focusing on areas that there is an unmet public health need. And finally, to boost the competitiveness of the European health industry. How do the IHI projects look? So all IHI projects are created through competitive calls for proposals, and they are cross-sectorial public-private partnerships that leverage contributions from the industrial partners of the IHI industry associations, and in many cases contributions from contributing partners, like in this topic, and also public funding provided through the European Commission and specifically the Horizon Europe program. The IHI Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda is focusing on cross-sectorial approaches that facilitate creation of new products and services to prevent, intercept, diagnose, treat, and manage diseases, and also foster recovery more efficiently. The goal of our Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda is to lay foundations for the development of safer and more effective healthcare products or solutions that respond to unmet public health needs and that can be implemented into healthcare systems. However, you need to keep in mind that research supported by IHI should remain at pre-competitive level. So let's now look how the process that will be followed looks like. So Call 11 is a 2-stage, and for this topic 4, we will follow a 2-stage procedure. So the topic was published a couple of weeks ago. That was the launch of the call. And we are now inviting applicant consortia to submit their short proposals. In the topic text, there is a pre-identified industry consortium identified and the contributions that they will bring into this topic. With the first stage, we ask applicants to bring together the applicant consortium, which consists the public side of the future consortium, and can have academics, hospitals, regulators, patient organizations, SMEs as partners, as well as for-profit legal entities that have an annual turnover of less than 500 million. So the short proposals of different applicant consortia will be subjected to an evaluation process, and one will be selected that will be paired with a pre-identified industry consortium. Now, together, they will write the full proposal that will again go through evaluation to see if it has the sufficient quality to be funded. And then at this stage, we will invite the full consortium to the grant agreement preparation phase and the launch of the project. To explain you the scope of the topic, I will give the floor to Carmen, who is here with us today. Carmen.
Thank you, Clelia. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today in this info session on topic 4 of call 11 of IHI, leveraging Euro's expertise to accelerate therapy for type 1 diabetes. So let's start with the challenge. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition in which the immune system destroys the body's insulin production beta cells. Despite major improvements in diabetes care over the last century, achieving stable blood glucose levels remains very difficult. This leads to a high risk of severe complications and impact daily life and mental health, contributing to stress, anxiety, and depressions. Cell therapy for type 1 diabetes means the cure for people living for type 1 diabetes. And our shell goal is to address this challenge through innovative therapies and collaborative research. Because of the complexity of this topic of developing and implementing beta cell therapies, there is a clear need for public-private cross-sections collaborations. In this project, what we need is to bring together academia, industry, healthcare providers, regulators, and patients. Especially, we have to come with people living with type 1 diabetes and put it into the center of what we are doing to ensure that research translates into real-world solutions. Next slide, please. For this topic, the scope is quite broad, as you might read in the call topic that was published a few weeks ago, but tackling type 1 diabetes through beta cell therapy requires work on many fronts. The goal is to create shared tools, standards, and frameworks that move the entire field forward, not just advance a single company product or just developing a cell therapy product. So now let's go through all the specific objectives of this scope. Establish standardized criteria and analyze methods. This objective is about creating shared standards and methods to detect and characterize unintended cells of impurities in beta cell therapies. The idea is to develop regulatory compliance thresholds and reference materials. For this is really important, and we really encourage the applicants to engage with EMA and regulators as soon as possible. This standard can be widely adopted in research and clinical settings. The second goal is enhancing graft survival and immune tolerance. Here, the focus is on developing strategies to help transplanted beta cells survive and avoid immune reactions. Projects might analyze data from existing islet transplants across Europe, in which we believe Europe has a lot of information and a lot of database that could apply for this project to discover new biomarkers or build predictive models. It could also include designing new prospective studies to identify markers of glycemic control, immune regulation, or inflammation. The goal is to create, again, a robust monitoring tools and frameworks that inform the future therapies. Advancing manufacturing and quality control, the goal is to improve how manufacture at the store beta cells. For example, developing better cryopreservation techniques so cells remain viable and functional after thawing. Streaming preclinical and clinical development. Here, the goal is to improve preclinical models and ensure standardized, harmonized approaches for translational science. Implementing advanced monitoring and AI-driven predictive tools. In these objectives, the focus is on using real-time monitoring technologies, such as continuous glucose monitoring, for example, biosensors, to assess graft success. It also looks to adapt immune monitoring strategies from fields like oncology to better understand immune responses in beta cell transplants. AI-powered predictive models will help personalize the treatment and manage immunosuppression. Defining clinical, meaningful, and patient-centered endpoints. Here, the project should use real-world data to define endpoints that really, truly capture the people living with type 1 diabetes, quality of life, and disease burden. Exploring reimbursement models for beta cell therapies. This objective involves developing early cost-effectiveness models, and here we really encourage to engage with health technology bodies, payers, and policymakers. So this is important to really lay the groundwork for future integration into health systems across Europe.
Sorry,
Integration,
Carmen.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you. We just got two messages that the sound is not efficient. And could you please speak closer to your mic?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
It's my headphones. Sorry. Okay. And finally, the scope also includes integrate beta cell therapies into standard diabetes care. Unfortunately, insulin is not just a cure. It means training healthcare providers, creating clinical guidelines, and build network of multidisciplinary centers. So overall, the scope of this topic is wide-ranging and really ambitious, and is designed to support projects that generate the tool, standards, and knowledge needed to make beta cells replacement therapy a real practical option for people living with type 1 diabetes. Next slide. I hope that the sound is okay now.
Yes, better. Thank you.
Okay. So before I go into the expected outcomes, I would like to first clarify what we mean with expected outcomes. In the context of this call, an outcome is a concrete result, deliverable that the project is expected to achieve. Outcome, they are not just vague goals, they are specific, measurable, and achievable. For this topic, the outcomes are designed to ensure that the project don't just advance the science in theory, but actually deliver practical and usable solutions that can help bring beta cell replacement therapies closer to real world use in type 1 diabetes. So now let's go through the expected outcomes. Manufacturing and regulation. The project should develop standardized impurity thresholds and best practice for manufacturing. This means creating a clear shared standard that ensures therapies are safe and high quality. They should also be along with regulatory alignment to support clinical translation and eventual reimbursement. Immune and clinical innovation, we want to see validated strategies for modulating the immune response to prevent rejection of transplanted cells. Projects should also deliver advanced models, biomarkers, and success indicators to guide research. Technology and personalization. Here, the outcome is about using cutting-edge tools to make treatments safer and more effective. That includes developing AI-driven predictive tools, real-time monitoring system, and personalized treatment. Research and clinical readiness. Applicants should really deliver improved clinical models that work across patient groups, plus define criteria for safety and access. Another really key outcome is the training programs to really ensure that the healthcare professionals could in the future offer cell therapy for people living with type 1 diabetes. System-wide integration. A critical outcome is the creation of the training of EU innovation hubs that support harmonization of research and regulations. Projects will also produce cost-effectiveness models and reimbursement frameworks to make adoption sustainable. The patient benefits. Lastly, this is the most important outcomes and is better care for patients, more effective treatments, improved access, better health outcomes, and higher quality of life. Projects need to demonstrate how they will directly benefit people with type 1 diabetes. In short terms, these outcomes are not just a wish list. As you can see here, they are really concrete and measurable results that the proposal should aim to deliver and to ensure that the research has a real impact and is ready to be used in the healthcare system. Next slide, please. Regarding the impact, the project under this topic is expected to have a broad and lasting impact, and this includes ensure long-term efficacy, accessibility, and integration into the healthcare system, advance stem cells-based therapies via improved manufacturing preclinical models, predictive tools, and regulatory alignment, strengthen innovative hubs and clinical networks in beta cell therapy, enable scientific regulatory progress for other metabolic and autoimmune disease, deliver improved treatments and clear guidelines, and increase investment to patients, providers, regulators, and industry, and boost European innovation in cell-based and regenerative therapies. Next slide. On the industry side, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are the two industry partners that are going to contribute to this goal, together with three research funding organizations and patient organizations, Breakthrough T1D, Fondazione Diabete Italia, and Diabetes Zero. In regards of the expected contribution, here we can see that there is the provision of training materials for healthcare professionals on health therapy, regulatory research and development, and clinical expertise, specialized knowledge in clinical protocol designs and the development and regulatory alignment of clinical meaningful endpoints, expertise in defining clinically meaningful endpoints, engagement with payers, policymakers, and regulatory agencies to support value-based healthcare adoption, and dissemination and communication effort, including the open sharing of all relevant learning tools and materials to maximize their accessibility and uptake across the healthcare ecosystem. For the applicants, we are looking for specific expertise and resources to support the project that includes scientific and technical expertise in beta cell biology, immune modulation, gene editing, and stem cell technologies, manufacturing and quality control capacity to deliver scalable, GMP-compliant production, regulatory and clinical design expertise, including trial design across age groups, preclinical and clinical development resources, such as access to predictive T1D models and transplant data, advanced monitoring technologies, AI-driven models for personalized therapy, next slide, please, patient-centered, integrating real world, and developing sustainability post-transplant care protocols, economy and policy expertise for cost-effectiveness analysis and reimbursement, strong networks and capacity for multidisciplinary collaboration, healthcare system engagement, knowledge sharing, and patient advocacy. Next slide. This slide provides additional detail on the expected applicant contribution. Remember, projects should be built on a strong multidisciplinary collaboration, patient involvement, and a clear plan for integrating new therapies into the healthcare system. The maximum financial contribution from the IHI joint action is up to 8,825,000. The indicative in-kind contribution from industry is 2.3 million, and the indicative in-kind and financial contribution from contributing partners is 7.3 million. The duration of the project is up to 60 months. So with that, I will give the floor to Clelia again.
Thank you very much, Carmen. So after presenting the specific scope of the project, I would like to give you, I would like to give you some information on the proposal submission and evaluation process. So you can find the templates for the proposal submission on our website. There are three parts of the proposal. The part A is actually a web form that you can fill in on the funding and tenders portal. And this form is for introducing the administrative data and the data on the partners of the applicant consortium. Then you have the part B, which is the narrative part of the proposal and is divided into 3 sections: the excellence, the impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. It is important to read the instructions in the template very well and try to address the different points so that you have a complete proposal that will facilitate the evaluation by the experts later on. And finally, you also need to submit an annex that requires information on the different participants that you have in your applicant consortium. Now, the evaluation criteria that we use in our evaluation follow also the 3 different sections of the Part B of the proposal. So we have excellence, impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. And each of these criteria have sub-criteria. So what the experts are asked to assess in your proposal are the following. First, under excellence, the clarity and pertinence of the project that you propose, objectives, and the extent to which this proposed work is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art, and also the soundness of the proposed methodology. Then in the impact, what the evaluators will assess is the credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes and impacts as these are described in the call topic text, and the likely scales and significance of the contributions that your proposed project will have. And finally, the last part of the criteria is the quality and efficiency of the implementation. And there, what the evaluators are asked to assess is the quality and effectiveness of the outline of the work plan and the capacity and role of each participant, as well as the extent to which the consortium as a whole brings together all the necessary expertise. Here, it is important to remember that the consortium that its application has put forward will join the pre-identified consortium at the second step, and in the end, they should form a full consortium where all partners complement each other. So you need to build a consortium that then, when it joins the pre-identified as a whole, form a successful public-private partnership. Some tips for applicants. The first and most important tip that we can give you is to read carefully the topic text. This is the text that against which the evaluators assess your proposal. So you need to address the challenges that are described in the topic text. Another good advice is that you need to start forming your consortium early, and in the composition of your consortium, you need to think what I just mentioned, that at the second stage, they will join the pre-identified consortium, and that together they need to form a successful public-private partnership. Also, an important point is to ensure that all the information requested in the call text and the proposal template are provided in the application that you write, so that you facilitate the work of the evaluators and you have better chances that your proposal is assessed well. And finally, a fourth important point that I would like to mention is that all IHI projects are expected to have a real impact on healthcare research. So to achieve that, you need already to consider and plan your interaction with regulators and include this consideration in your proposal. We understand that a very crucial step of putting together an application is to find project partners. So some advice on that: you can use the partner search tool that you can find on the EU funding and tenders portal. Also, you can use your IHI national contact point to help you with the networking. And of course, use your own network and social media to find partners. Now we'll pass the floor to my colleague Chiara from the legal team to give you some information that are specific for this call on eligibility. But it is also advisable to, if you didn't follow the morning session on rules and procedures, to follow the recording that is available on our website. Chiara, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Clelia, and thanks everyone for joining to this webinar. I'm Chiara. I'm a legal officer in the Innovative Health Initiative Joint Undertaking. So while our main focus for today's webinar is on the scientific aspects of the topic. I would still like to provide you with a quick overview of the eligibility conditions related to Call 11, specifically as they apply to topic 4, which we are discussing today. So as Clelia was mentioning, in this regard, for a complete and comprehensive overview of the rules for two-stage calls, we invite you, of course, to refer to dedicated webinar on rules and procedures, which took place this morning. The link to the webinar should be included in the chat. In any case, if you attended this morning's webinar, the information that I'm about to present should sound familiar to you. So, firstly, it's important to understand that Call 11 comes with some specific eligibility constraints that we would like to flag. So as you can see in the table, we have 4 countries. We have the UK, Canada, Switzerland, and South Korea. Legal entities established in the UK and Canada are eligible to receive funding under topic 1, but are not eligible to receive funding under topics from 2 to 5, which include today's specific topic, which is topic 4. Then we have Switzerland and South Korea. Legal entities established in Switzerland and South Korea are not eligible to receive funding from IHI in any of the Call 11 topics. This said, as far as this is concerned, non-eligibility for funding does not prevent the legal entities in question from participating in IHI actions. Moreover, there are ways in which entities from these countries may seek alternative funding. So we strongly encourage entities established in the countries mentioned above to reach out to the respective governments or contact points for more information and support on how to get national funding as applicable, of course. With specific reference to the UK National Contact Point has requested that the UK applicants contact them directly to receive tailored guidance and advice on how to participate. I hope this clarifies the main eligibility issues. I will now return the floor to you, Nassima. Thank you.
Thank you, Chiara, for your explanation. So I think that now we can move on to the Q&A session. So I'll ask Clelia to stop sharing the slide. I will start first with the question on the topic. The first one is this call focused only on stem cell-based therapies? Question mark.
Yes. Hi, thank you. Hi again. Yes, so the call topic is specific for cell therapies, replacement therapies for type 1 diabetes. Its goal include standardizing methods, improving graft survival, manufacturing, while also building on Europe's strong expertise in cadaveric islet transplantation to inform biomarker discovery and clinical approach.
Thank you, Carmen. The second one is, would xenotransplantation also be considered as one of the options?
The main focus is the stem cell derived beta cell replacement therapies. So,
thank you. Now we have a question on how could we find partners and project coordinators? Is there a dedicated platform or brokerage event dedicated for this? So this one is for me. So there is no IHI brokerage event or IHI specific platform for IHI Call 11, but we do have tools that you can use to find partners. So one, some were presented on Clelia's slide. The slide will be shared this afternoon just after this webinar. And there is also advice on finding partners on the IHI website at the Apply for Funding tab. So you can find ways to find partners there. Then we move on to the next one. If other pharma beyond the 2 mentioned would like to participate, would that be possible?
Yes, I can take this one. It is expected that the private members will be represented in the pre-identified industry consortium, but it is of course conceivable that minor, smaller pharma companies which of course are not included in the private members consortium, and they are neither members or affiliated entities of the IHI private members, which include, for example, SMEs, could be part of the applicant consortium. But this is of course something that should be assessed on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Chiara. I don't see any other question. I just want to emphasize that the webinar is your only chance to get answers from the topic writer itself. As you said on the last slide of Carmen's presentation, it's strictly forbidden for you to contact her or them directly. So I would wait for a few minutes to see if we get any new questions. Otherwise, I think we can close this webinar. So I'll wait. Meanwhile, I'll also encourage you to follow us on social media to know our news. I can see there is a new one. How clinical trials done in Europe using stem cells derived its sorry, I cannot read this one. islets would affect the grant application. I don't know if you got it, Carmen. So how?
Not really. I mean, I guess that if the applicant has expertise in clinical trials that have been done in Europe using the stem cell, of course, this is really great and really encouraged to apply for this cool topic. I don't know if I'm answering correctly. I don't understand perhaps well the question, but if that's the question, of course, we really encourage everyone that has expertise in clinical trials stem cell apply for this cool topic.
Thank you. And we have another one. Are you looking into having a focused approach to academic centers developing solutions? Is this a large difference between Europe and US?
What we are really looking is to work together in a framework that can advance cell therapies in Europe. So we don't want to develop a specific product. What we wanted to do and achieve is to build bridge in all these roadblocks that it can be you can encounter when you want to really implement cell therapy for type 1 diabetes in the healthcare system.
Thank you. The next one is there any constraint on the size of the consortium? So it's more one for the IHI office.
Yes, so normally there is no limit on size, but of course the size of the consortium depends on the challenges that the topic set forth. So these, of course, should be set up accordingly with the topic.
Thank you.
Complement here that the composition of the consortium and the expertise in the consortium is subject to evaluation. So there are no legal constraints, but the composition is subject to evaluation.
Thank you. At which TRL level should the MedTech device for continuous glucose monitoring be? Should it be a device on the market, or can it be early TRL?
It should be already in the market. This is something that we really want to monitor and really want to expand. We are not looking for developing a monitor system, but we want to use what is already in place to really give information about the engraftment.
Thank you. And I think we have a follow-up question from no, it's not the same person. Would also better interaction channels between regulatory and academic centers towards education and capability building? I don't think it's a question, it's just a comment. So the next one is today's US stem cells are used in trials in Europe. I think that's why the previous question of Kefir, these are the most advanced ready for clinic stem cells products. So no, also comments. So there is a question to see if the person has understood correctly. So no new product, but on how to build bridges / framework, this would be the aim.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. How many cons winner are expected? This is for the IHI office.
So I think I can take this one. So normally this is two-stage call. So normally there is one winner, stage one, the best proposal, would then pass on to the second stage, and the winner then merges with the pre-identified industry topic.
Thank you, Chiara. I don't see any other question in the chat. No. So I think the presentation was pretty clear. I think we can close this webinar. So I would say thank you very much to Clelia, Carmen, and Chiara for their presence. Thank you to all of you for your interest, and we wish you good luck for your proposal. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.